All right, so let's get started. So we just need a couple blocks today, and we will start. I hadn't thought about that. I've got starting part two in my head, but not starting part one. Well, let's start lying down then. There we go. And let's do the block under the sink. So coming down to the floor. Ah, letting yourself just rest against the floor. Arriving in your body. And then as you're ready, block is under the legs there, lifting up, sliding it under the back of the pelvis, and then sliding those legs out to straight. Or maybe one at a time. Whatever you need, taking your time, working with your body as it is this morning. Slowing the breath down. Taking all the time you need for every inhale and for every exhale. And then let's bend the right leg. Taking a moment, pressing the right foot into the floor, reaching long through the left leg. And then we'll hinge the right leg up. So maybe just pulling from the knee to the left foot, or you can put a hand or hands on the knee. I'm just going to pull today. Pulling that right knee toward my head, reaching away, a little resistance in that left leg. And then we'll set the right leg down, sliding it back out. And bending the left leg. Take a moment with the foot on the floor, pressing that left foot into the floor, really reaching long through the right leg. And then hinging the left leg up. Big long pull from the left knee out the right heel, maybe using your hands on that left leg to get a little more stretch if you want, or just working with the muscles. And then setting that left leg down, sliding it out. Another breath or two here. And then let's bend the knees, lifting up off the block, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. I'm going to Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Inhaling into the lower belly, exhale, pouring out the inner thighs, out the knees. And let's interlock the fingers, turning the palms up to the ceiling, stretching those arms up overhead, two long lines from the base of the hands out, the sitting bones. And releasing the hands. And we'll bring the knees in. And then making your way up to sitting. And let's sit in Sukhasana with crossed legs. Using those arms alongside, lengthening up. Getting space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. Get a little shifting and squinging if you want. And slowly releasing with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale, strong center line, pouring down the sides of the neck off the tops of the shoulders. Maybe closing your eyes. Feeling the breath. And letting go of the rest of the day, anything that's still clinging on. Ah. And then reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing them down. Let's do that twice more. And then coming forward and over, breathing across the back of the body. And let's walk the hands over to the right diagonal. And then left hand on the right knee, turning inside out. Feeling every breath. And then reaching back with that right arm, coming up to the vertical twist to the right. Coming back to the center. Let's change the cross of the legs, and we'll go to the other side. Pouring forward. Not just holding the shape and waiting for time to pass, but feeling every breath, feeling into your body. Every breath, it's a new moment. Something's a little different. You can bring something else into the shape. Don't necessarily have to consciously and intellectually do all of that. Just being very present and it will happen. Let's walk the hands over to the left. Or maybe you are being very conscious and reach a little more with the right arm or pull the abdominal muscles up a little more. And then right hand on the left knee, twisting open, turning inside out. And reaching back with the left arm, coming up to the vertical twist. And coming back to the front. Inhale and exhale, arriving here. And then we're going to do that, twisting inside out, right and left once more, a little bit, or maybe a lot bit more flowy as we pour forward and over. Deep breath. Walking the hands over to the right diagonal. And breathe. Left hand on the right knee, twisting open. Coming up to the vertical twist. And back to the center. And then pouring forward. Deep breath. Walking to the left diagonal. And breathe. Right hand on the knee, twisting open. And coming up to the vertical twist. And back to the center. Inhale and exhale. And then let's come up and downward facing dog. And taking your time, getting there. I've noticed I seem to like to do this puppy pose or extended child's pose first these days. And then once you're in your downward facing dog, walking the dog or anything else you want to do, what do your hamstrings need this morning? What do your ankles and calves need? And your lower back and whatever body parts, your shoulders, your wrists. And then finishing with whatever you're doing. And here we are, the best downward facing dog of this moment. And lengthening forward to the plank, long and flat against the ceiling. And I say that a lot. So are we really long and flat against the ceiling? And then letting the knees touch down on all fours and just pulling into a kneeling upward facing dog. Resting the tailbone down, pulling up with the upper back away from the wrists. And then let's just take a melting noodly roll down to the floor into the small cobra position. Reaching back through the toes and then coming up in the small cobra. And we're going to hold here. Breathing, nice big round breaths. Is there any more reach through the legs? And coming down. And then let's make our way back up to downward facing dog. You can hold your downward facing dog or going through a vinyasa, any version you want to do. One more deep breath here in downward facing dog. And looking between the hands to jump or step forward. And into the concave back halfway up, working the back muscles, really drawing forward with the collarbones. And then pouring over. Taking a few breaths here in the forward bend, extending up through the legs. And coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down, long through the top of the head. Inhale and exhale. And let's come back over, big lift up. And diving over. Concave back halfway up, folding over. Let's step back with the left leg into the right lunge and bringing that left knee down and Jayasana, the kneeling lunge. And we'll twist to the right, hooking the right arm across, left arm across the right outer thigh, pulling wide, fingertip to fingertip. And then bringing the right hand around to Namaste. And you can use that left elbow wedging on the right leg to help twist, but also using the muscles. Maybe not pushing so hard for a moment with that left elbow. And Namaste in the center. Continuing back to downward facing dog, stepping to the plank. So just holding the plank might be a good version of the vinyasa sometimes. So I'll demonstrate that. Holding the plank for 2 or 3 breaths. Back up to downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up. And bending the knee, dog at the high fire hydrant. Really keep that left leg steady, pressing the left inner heel against the center line. And through to the lunge. Coming up in the warrior number 1, or you could use the high lunge instead if you would rather. Scooping that tailbone down and forward, upper body up and over. And then bringing the arms down, and we'll interlock the fingers behind, lengthening up the front of the body, to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And then we'll come forward and over into the humble warrior, extending out over the right thigh, or maybe sinking a little down and inside. And releasing the hands. Let's step forward into the concave back halfway up, folding over. Deep breath. And coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down long through the top of the head. And we'll do that on the other side. Big lift up, front body yawn, and diving over. Concave back, folding over. Stepping back with the right leg into the low lunge, and then bringing the right knee down and Jayasana. Twisting to the left, hooking that right arm over the outside of the left leg, pulling wide. And a big reach around with that left hand, Namaste. Maybe right now you're pushing hard with the right elbow to really stretch into the twist. But maybe try lightening it up a little. And working the core a little more. And namaste in the center. And continuing back to downward facing dog through the vinyasa, any version. And we'll lift the right leg up. And then really feeling that inner right heel pressing against the center line as we bend the left leg into dog at the high fire high. And through to the lunge. Warrior number one, or the high lunge. And we'll interlock the fingers behind, rolling the shoulders out, lifting up and over, pouring down that right. And then coming forward, humble warrior, reaching out long, maybe sinking down inside that left thigh. And releasing the hands, and we will step forward into the concave, back halfway up, folding over. Deep breath. And then we're going to sit down on the floor into Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees out to the side. And lengthening up. And then coming over, pressing down and out with the elbows. And then come up. I'm just going to turn a little toward you. And then we'll breathe up, interlocking the fingers, turning the palms up, pulling the elbows wide, pressing up, grounding down. Lifting through the core, trying to press the knees down. And releasing the hands. And then bringing the legs up. So we're going to do the wide V sit. You can hold on behind the thighs, which is nice because then you have lots of options about how straight those legs get. Or maybe you can hold on to the outer foot or the big toe, whichever body part you want for the floor. All right. And then extending out any amount. The legs might or might not be straight. Another thing that happens when you hold underneath the thighs, which is what I'm doing, if you do get those legs straight, makes your quadriceps, the top of the thighs, work a lot more because they have to hold that shin out there. And when you take your hands out to the ankles or the big toes, the whole leg has a little bit more support. It's not that your quadriceps aren't working, they just don't have to work so hard. And then we try to lift up through the top of the head with our imaginary interlocked fingers overhead like we were just doing. So I expect you could actually do that in this position, but that doesn't mean we should do it today. And let's bring those legs down, giving yourself a little squeeze in. Ah. All right, let's come back up in our forward bend. Ah. Hmm. And then concave back, folding over. Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And we will lift our right leg. Dog at the high fire hydrant. Nice steady arms. Let's draw 3 circles with the right knee. Knee forward, side, up and over. Let's do 4 altogether, actually. And noticing how much work it is with the arms. The arms aren't moving, or they're trying not to. But every time we shift our weight as we circle, it puts a different sort of work on the arms. So muscularly, they're moving a lot. And then we will finish with that, reaching through the right toes, through to the lunge. Warrior number 2. And making sure that alignment arrive, knee over the right foot. And then we're going to straighten the right leg, bringing the arms up overhead. Don't move the feet. Still in our warrior 2 position. Lift up a little more and then reaching out wide, tracking the knee over the foot. We're going to do that 6 times just on the single breath. You can pick a different number, of course. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reaching out. Inhale and exhale. So do just like 2 or 3 slower if that's what your body needs today. We check how that knee is doing. Is it still tracking over the foot? And we have 1 more. Somehow I managed to count and talk this time today. And then that was our 6th pause here in the warrior 2. Dancing warrior. And then into the triangle trikonasana. And so we're going to hold steadily here, but every breath is going to be like that. Lift and straighten and expand out. Big energetic, doesn't have to be literally like it, but energetic movement through the body. And then reaching with that left arm, coming back up to standing, turning the feet to parallel, reaching wide, pulling up through the center, and then the big front body yawn up and coming over, wide leg forward, back. And then let's turn to the right lunge. And stepping back, vinyasa or not, downward facing dog. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And sliding forward onto our stomach into the Sphinx. Pulling back with the elbows, pulling back with the hands, reaching back through those. And then coming down and walking the hands forward, long and flat against the floor. And then lengthen to lift, extend in Salavasana. And then we're going to reach our arms to the side, pause and really feel that. Then reaching the arms back, you can rotate the palms all the way to the ceiling. And then we'll come back, reaching the arms side, the palms turn down. Reaching the arms forward, the palms face each other. Let's do that twice more. So reaching wide, reaching back, reaching wide. Oh boy, it's going to be hard this last time. So if you need to set the legs down, setting them down, but keep extending. And we should be about finished with this and coming down. Ah. And then big cobra of your choice, or maybe the Sphinx again. And then peeling ourselves back up, maybe a couple cats and cows, to downward facing dog. And then we'll do our warrior twos and triangles on the left. Oh, and you can put in another through the vinyasa here if you want. All right, here we go. Lifting that left leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire height. And then drawing the big circle with that left knee. Trying to keep the arms nice and steady, though the muscle work is constantly adjusting as we shift our weight as the knee moves around. And 3 more times, 4 circles all together. And then reaching that left leg out straight. Big inhale and exhale through to the lunge. Warrior number 2 on the left. Left knee tracking over the foot, really holding that inner thigh forward, outer thigh back. We get to talk about that so much. I've pretty much been focused on that inner thigh forward, but there's also an outer thigh back. I'm breathing here. And then we will come up. Moving slippery mat a little bit here today. Coming up, straightening up that left leg, pulling all the way up from those outer hips out the fingertips. Big inhale and exhale, reaching long back to the warrior 2, left knee tracking right over the foot. And we'll do that 6 times or whatever number you need. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, widen, but still feeling that lengthen. Maybe doing a little visual check on that left knee. Is it tracking over the foot there? And then here we are, pausing in our warrior 2. Dancing warrior, left arm up. And into the triangle, Trikonasana. And our body is going to be still, more or less here, but we still have that breath moving through the body. And reaching back with that right arm to come up, feet to parallel. Big lift up. And coming forward and over. And we'll turn to the left lunge, back to the front of our mat. Stepping back, vinyasa, downward facing dog. And 3 deep breaths in downward facing dog. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And let's slide forward into the Sphinx, and we'll do that Salabhasana one more time. We're just going to do once, front side to the back, and then arms to the side and back to the front. But let's go to the Sphinx for a moment, getting re-lengthened out, pelvis into the floor, reaching through the legs. Calming down, bringing those arms forward. Take a moment, getting long on the floor, and then lifting up. Palms face each other. Reaching the arms wide to the side, palms are facing the floor. Reaching the arms back, rotate those thumbs all the way in and up, palms to the ceiling. Reaching to the side, the palms rotate back to the floor. Reaching forward. Calming down. Ah. And then, indulgent cobra. Don't overindulge in it and end up hurting your lower back, though. Being careful. And then healing ourselves up a couple cats and cows. And let's do the thread the needle shoulder stretch. Left hand in the center. Big twist open. And diving that right arm through. And you can keep the left arm tucked underneath or putting it out in any variation you want. There's a hand on the floor here with the elbows sticking up. You can straighten that left arm out. You can wrap it around in the half binding. And we will switch sides. And left arm going under. Any sort of variation you want to do here. And coming up. Sitting back in child's pose. And coming up. And let's finish up with a straight leg forward V-sit. Or if you'd rather be a little more easeful, you can Paschimottanasana. Oh, maybe this is a better idea. Anyway, you can Paschimottanasana here. Ah, or coming up in Navasana, the boat pose. You can hold behind the thighs, or you can make it like Upaya Pada Paschimottanasana and hold the feet maybe. Hands on the floor. Extending those legs any amount, either up in the air or along the floor in the forward bend. And then we'll finish with wherever you are. And rolling down to the floor and into Shavasana. Oh. Giving things a little shake if there's things that need to be let go of. Your face and jaw need a little shake. We're home here. No one can see you making funny faces there. All right. Oh. And then settling into your Shavasana, settling the weight of your body into the earth. And then breathing back into your body, into the room, moving the fingers and toes, keeping the circulation going. Stretching the arms up overhead. Bend the knees. And gently making your way up to sitting. Sitting in any comfortable position with that long and spacious spine. Taking a few more moments, sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.